Ooh, was a lot. The Mug and the Maiden, Volume 1 by Sir Wilton Moore. Chapter 1, The Dangerous Forest. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a mug of cheese. But it was not an ordinary mug of cheese, as you would find in any home or kitchen of the age. No, this mug of cheese was a distant descendant of one of the three grand Flagon kings? Uh, the same kings who had charged on horseback to defend their capital city during the unforgettable conquest of their previous century, to which of these flagon kings he hailed from, the mug was unsure. But still, there was honor and courage in his heart. His family line heralded of deeds long past that had forever changed the course of Stoop history. Sorry, I had something on my shirt. Did he have a name? Of course. All mugs of cheese have name. This is common knowledge, just as every fruit bat is really named Stanley. The mug of cheese was named Richter the Cracked. What a name. Sorry. I can hear you say cracked, indeed. The mug of cheese bears no damage that I can see. Fall silent, you small-minded bass, for therein lies our intriguing story. Let's begin at the beginning. It was a hot winter day in the forest. A hot winter day? Okay. One of those days where everything is dull brown. The lake was still, the birds had shut up, and the trees were but sticks in the overcast sky, save for a lone pine that skimmed the clouds above like a painter's brush. It was on this day that Mr. Darble Mouse was in a hurry. He had just been named as Vermin of the Year by the society brethren that lived under the old church, and it was customary for the honoree to bring fine port wine cheese to the ceremony. There were only hours to locate some of the precious cuisine. Fortunately, Mr. Darble Mouse knew exactly where to find it. The cellar below the governor's castle. But unfortunately, as he approached the loose plank of wood in the old wall, he failed to realize that the heavy rains that had come during the night had passed moisture into the plank, making it heavier than usual. Thus, when he pushed the plank with all his might, it lifted just enough to push his body only halfway through. But his strength just couldn't contend with the weight of the plank, and his arms failed. The plank snapped back down, crushing him flat. How many pages? Oh, it's a lot. It's 4 chapters. Okay. Yeah, sit tight. It's gonna be a long one. After all, this story is not about Mr. Darble Mouse, or had you forgotten about the mug of cheese already? I can see how you might connect the two. Mr. Darble Mouse was, after all, looking for cheese, and we were talking about a mug of cheese just before. Sadly, I must inform you that there is no relation between Richter the Cracked and the rodent who is now nothing more but smushed guts inside the wall. Except that there is, for it was death of Mr. Darble Mouse that started all the trouble. You see, when things die, they tend to smell, and that's just what Mr. Darble Mouse did. But that's not all. His body, pinned between the outside and inside of the wood wall, had made a perfect passage for the hot winter wind. The wind therefore carried the stench of his decaying mouse carcass deeper into the governor's home. Like a snaking, twisting wisp of terror, the smell settled into a little tavern near the courtyard of the castle. Here soldiers would spend many long hours when there were no bloodlust to soothe with battle. Strong ales and red meats filled the menu from back to front at this rustic medieval greasy spoon. Mostly the customers came to look upon the barmaiden, Maxine, who was actually named Rita. Rita was by far the best-looking creature in all the governor's country. There was a beautiful deer woman just over the hill, but no one knew that. By day, Rita scrubbed her tavern so clean you could eat off it. which was fortunate as it was a place you indeed would be eating, since it was a tavern. By night, she served her customers with charm, grace, but mostly with drinks. Did I mention that Rita was married? Well, I'm mentioning it now. This is weird. This is fucking weird. I'm mentioning it now. Rita was married. Her husband's name was James. He didn't do much until he died. The smell of Mr. Darble Mouse knocked him flat, and that, my friends, was that. Oh dear, this story has barely begun, and already we've killed two major characters. Needless to say, Rita was deeply distressed by the whole thing. But 20 or so minutes later, she realized she couldn't mourn forever and went to buy some cheese. Ah, yes, don't worry, dear reader. By the time. This time, the mention of cheese will probably guide us to meeting our focal hero of the tale. Also, this is a good time to start a new chapter. Chapter 2. God, I gotta clean my glasses. Chapter 2, a new chapter. Rita entered the cheese shop with her guns blazing. I am speaking metaphorically, of course, by which I mean she entered the cheese shop quite determined to buy some cheese. This was because just the night before, as her husband James was taking note of a weird smell in the room, she had invented a delicious new concoction, a cheddar cider. It was sure to be a hit with her patrons. After all, the governor's country only had two exports, cheese and grapes, and she couldn't possibly make a drink from a grape. But back to the cheese shop scene. Rita knocked on the counter loudly with her fists, causing the nearby cat to do absolutely nothing, as cats do. From behind the wall, she heard a stir as someone was crashing through piles of cheese to make their way towards her. Emerging gloriously from torn yellow curtains, an old man came into view. He was giant in stature with a long gray beard, babbling along, and stuck with his beard were all manners of cheese crumbs and wedges, rapidly tight within his hair. But yet he held even more cheeses on ropes pulled across his chest, with loops of provolone linked like sausages over one shoulder. His eyes were big, and his ears were even bigger. A smile of kindness erupted from his face as he locked eyes with Rita. My, the Kurds are kind to me this hour. Hello and welcome, he bellowed. Rita bowed low and promptly began to cry. The shop owner looked at her perplexed. What did I say wrong? The barmaiden sniffed and snooted and finally answered, Forgive me, for my husband had just died and I'm out of Swiss. I'm going to pause now in the story to ask myself why Mr. Darble Mouse went to the cellar in the governor's house for cheese if there was a cheese shop nearby. I think it's best that we overlook that glaring problem in the plot, don't you? Now back to the story at hand. Rita purchased a large amount of cheese from the shop owner. She bought cheese wheels and cheese melts and cheese slices. She bought cheese whistles and cheese bread. She bought cheese paper and cheese sandwiches. She bought so much cheese, in fact, that she had lost track of all she had obtained, and just dumped all the fromage into a large burlap sack for the return journey to the tavern. Fromage? Yeah, fromage. No, it's not fromage. Fromage? Fromage? Anyways. Goodbye, Rita, the shop owner called as he waved farewell. Goodbye, Daniel, she called back. His name was Murray, by the way. Okay. Overburdened by her treasures, Rita made her way home, following the main road to the castle. But as it always happens, the road was now under repair. A man with a skinny mule was plowing up dirt so that he could put down new cobblestone. 4 of his associates were standing by, watching him. The job will only take a few years to finish, but Rita was in a hurry, so she followed the detour sign that told her to take a different road to her left. Unfortunately, no one could read in the governor's country, so she went right instead. This mishap took her deep into the forest, where absolutely nothing of interest happened. Except something of interest did happen. As she trotted on through the forest, her sack of cheese weighing her down, muttering complaints all the way, little did she know that danger lay just ahead. This danger was cunning and dangerous, and had one of those out of place eyebrow hairs that drives you nuts when you're talking to someone who has one. This danger we will call Bernard, the big ugly lizard man who wears a blue cloak. Bernard didn't often have visitors in his house. This became oh, excuse me. This was because he lived outside. Also, he was rather fond of human flesh, which made him very unpopular. So obviously, you can see the drama unfolding here. The beautiful but tired Rita huffing and puffing up the winding path as she approaches a certain doom. Bernard watching from a nearby tree, licking his lips. Oh, the tension is tense, is it not? At the time, at this point in time, we must pause again to ponder all the possibilities that can happen now in our story. Two characters have died already. Surely a third wouldn't hurt anything. Are you perhaps just reading this story because you want to see who gets the axe next? You are a little warped. Do you know that? Well then, let's see what happens next. Bernard stepped from behind his hiding place, his eyebrow hair gleaming in the fading sun. Dear madam, why must you pass through so fast? He called with his eyes glimmering. I must get home, Bernard, because for one, it's getting late and I have customers to serve, and second, because you eat people, Rita replied. This story feels like a fever dream. Puppycock, Balderdash, Codswallop. Yep. Codswallop? I hear these lies against my character. I won't hear these lies against my character, he detested. For I, Bernard, the big ugly lizard man who wears a blue cloak, have completely reformed myself. Rita squinted suspiciously at him. You have? God, I can't read. Bernard put a hand to his heart. I have. I no longer prowl or pounce. I won't attack or bounce. I will not kill or maim or tear. I was going to say tear. I won't crush or even bite you anywhere. I promise I won't devour anymore. My gosh, you become a bore. If you aren't going to be the danger in this story, then I have come all this way with 100 pounds of cheese for nothing, Rita grumbled. She boosted her sack further up her shoulders and turned with an angry grunt, but Bernard waved after her in a panic. Wait, it's all a ruse. I intend to eat you, dear woman. I swear it, he cried. It's all a trick, you see, a new angle. It worked on some guy yesterday. Oh, please stay. Rita sighed, her strength just about gone from the long adventure she had taken since she'd left home that morning. She turned back to face Bernard. All right, she said, but your part in the story better lead to an unexpected turn of events. Oh, it will, Bernard clapped and waggled his clawed finger to motion her to draw nearer. Just wait until the next chapter. Chapter 3, the next chapter. Oh my god. This is kind of funny. Just in like this weird fever dream kind of sense. All looked quite dire for Rita. Bernard had her within his grasp. Surely it wouldn't just be mere moments before his jaws collapsed on her head. What a horrible end for Rita. Needless to say, I am worried for her. But as luck would have it, miles and miles away, 20 years earlier, something amazing happened. 2 mugs of cheese, a Gouda and mozzarella, welcomed their first son into the world. I don't think I need to tell you his name. It was Dave. No one liked Dave. After that, their second son came forth, Richter the Cracked, just called Richter at the time. Richter spent his early life stealing cowbells and putting them on skunks. By the way, people always knew when danger was nearby. Needless to say, Richter was one smart mug of cheese. But all could not remain perfect forever, and suddenly the great skunk famine began. Richter found his world in array, and he sought a new purpose. Fortunately, there was an opening in the governor's governor's county, for an adventurer at the time. And since he was a descendant of the 3 grand Flagon kings, He was boosted to the head of the line because as we are all quite aware, even in olden times, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Thus the adventures of Richter began. He braved deep dungeons, he slayed the great beasts, he climbed the highest mountain peaks, he sailed around the world despite the fact he didn't own a boat. Richter was truly the stuff of legends. But did I mention the curse? Yes, fair readers, there is a curse, a fiendish and terrible curse. One morning, while Richter was in the governor's county, he came upon a witch named Witch. All right. The witch just pulled a pound of cake from her oven, where she then proceeded to start ingesting it right there on the front walk of her home. At once, Richter knew this creature was pure evil. Eating cake this early in the morning and without ice cream, this was truly a fiend that needed to be vanquished. Richter jumped her fence and pulled his sword. Would you like some pound cake? The witch offered. It looked quite delicious. Richter would not let himself be seduced into early morning cake, so he approached closer with his weapon at her throat. The witch began to sweat, with a mouth full of crumbs. I also make a mean scone if you want to wait. Now, no gentleman or gentle mug would refuse a good scone, so Richter withdrew his sword and patiently waited for the witch to create these new buttery pastries. But what he didn't know was that the witch accidentally had bumped her table and added within the mixture a god damn it, a vile and cursed liquid. See, I told you there was a curse. You were fair warned. The moment Richter ate the scones, he fell into deep sleep. The witch, baffled, finished her cake and proceeded to get a civil service job in a nearby town. As the years rolled by, all that remained of the witch's house was carried off by elves, and her garden became overgrown. This left only Richter asleep in the forest, with no end to his dreaming in sight. But the story thankfully does not end here. For as luck would have it, a giant man covered in cheese with big eyes and big ears wandered past the sleeping mug. In case you've forgotten, this was the cheese shop owner Murray, sometimes called Bill. Unable to resist cheese of any kind, even a mug of the stuff, Murray took Richter to the shop and set him on a shelf. Here Richter sat for many years until this fateful day. You see, Rita in haste, sorry. You see, in Rita's haste to gather up all the cheese she had purchased, she swept a few things that did not belong to her into the sack as well. These items included a cat on the counter, a personalized pen, Murray's cash box. I think she'll be hearing about this one eventually. And last but not least, Richter himself, still deeply asleep. So now that our two stories have come together, let's discover what happened next to Rita and Richter in the climax chapter. Chapter 4, the climax chapter. God, it's been a long read. It was the same hot winter day in the forest for Mrs. Darble Mouse, who was finally starting to get concerned. Just down the road, Rita was drawn towards a almost certainly bloody and horrific end to her life. Bernard was just moments from taking her within his lizard's jaw, a mere hours from trimming his eyebrows. Rita stood her ground. She was no damsel in distress, but simply a person who was pretty darn tired by this point. She pulled the burlap sack of cheese from her body and swung it hard with every last bit of strength she had left in her. An ear-shattering crack broke through the silent trees as the bag made contact with Bernard's shocked face. His teeth flew in all directions, falling like pebbles to the ground. His eyeballs dislodged and rolled into a nearby stream. His jawbone turned completely around and planted itself on the back of his head. Bernard ran screaming into the woods, never to be seen again this week. His cries faded, and the forest once fell soft and quiet. A cow walked by. Rita was standing with her sack outstretched in her arms, stood wide-eyed at what just happened. Surely no cheese in her bag was hard enough for that kind of impact. As she placed her burlap sack upon the dirt and peeled it open, she was amazed to find Richter, the mug of cheese, inside and looking quite dazed. He had awakened and the curse was finally lifted. Somewhere behind a desk, the witch looked up and nodded with a smile. So stupid. Oh, but dear reader, look what now upon his mug body, a giant and elegant a giant and elegant crack, the very mark of a warrior. His hero's journey was finally complete. Richter the Cracked had emerged. Yes, it is the true. Wait, yes, it is true. It is true that Richter really didn't do anything important in the attack on Bernard. But just by Richter being where he was at the perfect time, he had saved Rita. Excuse me, God, I'm falling into this fucking fever dream. The fates were with them. Richter and Rita talked and laughed and ate cheese until the sun went down. Finally, they packed up their picnic and headed back to the tavern where they were met with cheers of excitement. This is mostly because the guys had found out that Rita was now single. What? As the night wore into early morning of the hours, the tavern remained alive in the castle's courtyard with singing and dancing and cheddar cider. What a celebration. But like all parties of this proportion, eventually everyone sobers up and you have to go home. Before long, it was dawn. The sun began to rise steadily in the west, making a fresh adventure on the horizon. A wind of new direction began to blow with a more steady pace. It skidded across the ground and found its way between the floorboards of the governor's castle. Here, against all odds, it found the barely remaining body of Mr. Darble Mouse. The wind carried the stench far beyond the borders of the castle, over the mountain, and deep within a dark cave where Evil slept. "What the heck is that smell?" said Evil, awakening with hellfire burning behind his eyes. Eventually news of this great evil spread from town to town until it reached the ears of Richter the Cracked. He polished his sword and gathered some crumbs of bread to store in his mug, wearing his best expression of courage. Richter once again set off to conquer the day. His story was not yet over. But for now, dear reader, we return to our own lives. So let us end this tale with one closing thought, shall we? Be we cracked or small or even dead, there's always a purpose to where we all are led. Be brave and strong, and lest we forget, fate isn't quite done with any of us just yet. The end. Fucking Christ. God, I felt like I was going insane. So what's the thing we gotta find? Gilson. There I am. There I be. No. Sit in the toilet. Alright. Gross. Okay.
The machine speaks to me, revealing its many possibilities. What I can accomplish using its power is beyond any measure. Life and death can become a thing of the past. Poverty and hunger, a distant memory. I can remake the world anew. But does the world deserve such a gift? For now, I have bigger matters at hand. A man in a black coat came asking at the front desk about the machine. Said he was from the Gent Corporation. Fortunately, Mr. Alan Gray.
Hmm. Alan Gray. Theory about
Well,
space.
that didn't tell me anything.
Oh, hold on. Spatial displacement of unknown elements. Let us imagine a long wire stretching between 2 points in known time. We will call this the of time. We will call this length of time the euphonic base. From here, we can dispel all needs of societal normalcy and all typically understood junctions of the world we know as the present. Once the euphoric base is achieved, it creates a shared understanding that there must be space around the wire, that it is not the wire itself. This space, a Cromley vacuum, could be in itself a host of many wires, running in as many directions as we can perceive. Using a vessel of flow, a flux break, we can escape from our wire to another wire. This allows us to not just reveal these alternate timescapes, but command them with a larger understanding of their existence. Further still, in theory, we can bring elements of one world into another, displacing matter into a new state regardless of the current host wire's rule. The reality and function of the elements become a new euphoric base. Euphonic. Euphoric. Euphonic. Excuse me. Euphonic base. I can't read. I just can't read.
Nothing here.
Euphonic base. Fisherman's Jeb. Section 4, Freshwater Critters. The Yellow Perch. If you find yourself looking for a hard-fighting fish that won't rip your hands, you should look no further than the common yellow perch. This freshwater fish is always quick to bite anything they can get their jaws on. The best way to catch yourself one is work your bait, worms, minnows, and larvae, toward the bottom of the water and guide your line back up. You don't need much seasoning when it comes time to cook it either. The flavor of the yellow perch is built right in. Good eatings. The Gilson fish. Oh, it's a fish. This is one strange little fish that is pretty hard to come by. The Gilson is not known to be easy to catch and will ignore most bait. To make matters worse, the Gilson can move very fast, making it a rare sight. In the end, I was able to snatch me up this little guy with a very clever solution. Apparently, the Gilson is sensitive to sound vibrations and will go into shock upon hearing some sweet music. So crank up the tunes, and this fish will be an easy grab. Crush up the Gilson into powder and stir it into water for a powerful, soothing drink.
So, I'm looking for
A fish.
There's gotta be one here somewhere.
Read. Chapter 9, Simple Snacks. If you're in a hurry, like I always am, you don't have time put together. You don't have time put together. Oh, that was okay. That was having a stroke right there. You don't have time put together complex or large meals. Fortunately, we have some scrumptious and simple recipes that satisfy and take no time at all to prepare. People will ask how you made these so fast you can just sit back and smile. Saucy cheese buddy recipe. Take a loaf of leftover Italian bread and slice it into 4-inch strips. Lightly butter your bread strips on one side only. Lay them face up on a baking sheet. Toast in your oven for 2 to 6 minutes at 400 degrees or just until they begin to brown. Sprinkle a thick layer of mozzarella cheese over these strips and leave them in the oven for just a minute or two to melt the cheese. Remove and serve with your favorite marinara sauce or spice things up with a little ranch dressing. Quick, easy, and super tasty. Next page. Chocolate bacon soup. Okay. So I gotta find a fish. We should have just asked Betty. Laboratory. Nope. Dog's playing poker.
Maybe if it was closer. Now that's a fish. Ah, he's too fast.
Do I have to find it? Like good music? Oh no, I have to move this. Oh. I had to find like a music sheet or something.
That did it. Looks like the fish is asleep. Gotcha. You can't get away from me, you little stinker.
Oh. Hey.
Hello.
I forgot the Gilson again, didn't I? And there's some already ground up in the kitchen too. I'll bring it up to your room straight away, shall I? Oh, and maybe you could put Harold back in his tank. He does so hate the dry air.
That was cute. Yeah. This way.
Now, just 3 sips of water. 1. 2. 3.
Sure.
Oh, at last. I was almost afraid you'd miss my party.
What's going on?
Oh, it seems you're just a little overwhelmed. It's all right, honey. I understand. It's not every day one gets to bask in the glory of an angel.
Angel?
Alice Angel, to be exact. That's who I am. Sent from above. Impending perfection.
What do you want?
Right to the chase. I like that. The truth is, honey, you're one of a kind. And to put it bluntly, what I want is your face removed, your skin peeled away like paper, and your insides torn out and tossed onto my table. Custom parts, ready for my delicious harvest. And with your generous sacrifice, for now, let's have fun. Plenty of time for a bloodbath later. Ooh, how about a game? Let's all play a game of riddles.
Riddles? What a wonderful idea!
No. All right, honey. Here's the deal. Behind you is the door to freedom. But it will only be opened if you solve my little puzzle and return to your special chair. Then, I'll throw this heavenly switch here. If you get the puzzle right, you walk away. Get it wrong, you fry. Let's begin.
The bird won't have anything to do with the rabbit, but I hear he likes to court danger by sitting next to the fox.
The fox thinks the rabbit smells of elderberry. I couldn't see them sitting together.
The rabbit never sits with the bird, but he loves the playful company of the bear.
The pompous fox? Well, he wouldn't be caught dead sitting on the left. Far too pedestrian.
The fox has always hated the bear. They never sit next to each other.
My friend the bear always sits next to the bird. After all, they went to school together.
Hold on tight, honey. Here it comes.
I got that wrong for
Two.
a fact.
1. Care to try again?
So, oh, hold on. So what is the riddle?
The fox thinks the rabbit smells of elderberry. I couldn't see them sitting together.
The bird won't have anything to do with the rabbit, but I hear he likes to court danger by sitting next to the fox.
Oh. It's that kind of puzzle. Ow.
The fox thinks the rabbit smells of elderberry. I couldn't see them sitting together.
The rabbit never sits with the bird, but he loves the playful company of the bear.
The pompous fox? Well, he wouldn't be caught dead sitting on the left. Far too pedestrian.
The bird won't have anything to do with the rabbit, but I hear he likes to court danger by sitting next to the fox.
The fox has always hated the bear. They never sit next to each other.
My friend the bear always sits next to the bird. After all, they went to school together.
This may be wrong.
Hold
Maybe
on
right.
tight, honey. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1.
I got it. It worked. Yeah. So how the hell did Alice Angel appear? There's my pipe. That actually scared the shit out of me. Okay. Whoa, okay.
No one humiliates an angel. No one. Hold still, honey. This is gonna hurt. Where did you go? Come out wherever you are. Oh, you're out there. Stop hiding. Start dying. Just want to be beautiful. Help me be beautiful. I know you're out there. I don't wanna go. That's it. Come out, you freak, ink demon. Where do you think you're going? Go! Stop hiding! Start dying! Give me your inside! Thanks. I spotlight, honey. hiding from me? That's precious.
Oh, fuck.
Gotcha! Where did you go? I know you're out there! Die! Come out wherever you are! There you are! Where do you think you're going? I don't wanna go! Where did you go?
Okay.
Screams of pain, music to my ears. Ain't stealing my spotlight, honey. Lovely eyes and that shot. You hiding from me? That's precious. Stop hiding. Start dying.
Nice. Not nice. Ugh.
Lovely eyes in a jar! Give me your insides! I know you're out there!
Okay.
Where did you go?
God
Where
damn.
did you go? There you are! Stop hiding! Start dying! Where do you think you're going? How dare you touch me?
Come on, Audrey. Yeah, not dead.
Final curtain, baby. Let's blow them away.
Oh,
My face. You have my face. It's our face. Beautiful.
snap.
Why does this feel so familiar? Are you all right, Audrey?
Alice, I cannot begin to tell you how good it is to see you. And this must be your wolf.
Audrey, meet Tom.
Hey, Tom.
He's my protector. My friend.
Still
both
cool
got here just in time.
with your robo arm.
Now I understand why you don't like being called Alice.
The machine creates many of the same forms. At least on the outside. On the inside, we're all pretty different.
Well, from now on, I'm gonna call you something other than Alice. It just doesn't suit you.
Oh? What do you have in mind?
How about Allison?
It's not bad. Okay, I'll try it out. But only if you can tell me what in heaven's name you're doing in Wilson's retreat.
Wilson, I almost forgot. I have to get back right away.
Are you crazy? Wilson's our enemy.
Do you even know him? Have you ever talked to him?
I've seen what he's done. That's good enough for me.
Look, it sounds like he has a plan to kill the ink demon. For good. And I think he can help us all. I just need to go back and hear him out.
Well, if it's true, you'll both need as much help as you can get. The ink demon won't go down without a fight. Tom and I will gather some of our friends. Anyone who's left. Good luck, Audrey.
You too, Allison.
Mind if I take this?
Gun. Sweet. Missed you, buddy. Beautiful people run this world. If you can have brains and talents, you may just sneak through the gates. But with a pretty face, every door opens. The crowds bow to you. They ask your name. They want you to attend. They ask you to speak. A silky voice with gorgeous lips is everyone's weak spot. I was reborn with my perfection stolen from me. To get it back, I'll rip this rotted world apart. Angels are beautiful. Angels are beautiful. Alice Angel. Nothing. I'm glad Tom's back with his robo arm.
Prince of Peace. Must they bring us only more pain?
Voice is sounding a little more like the darkness. Jackie. Listen to us, Jackie.
Don't send me back. Please, have mercy.
Okay, just gotta wait for it to get out of here. Excuse me. Dear Alice, I don't know if you will read these notes, but I'll keep leaving them for you. I hope someday you'll understand my words and the madness will fade from your mind. In this strange and dark place, we can find light and purpose. We are not left to just wander alone, craving beauty, power, and other meaningless things. Even the heart of someone feeling incomplete can discover joy. We're not lost. We're merely waiting to be found. We are so much alike, formed from the same mold. We are like sisters, you and me. I wish you comfort and the wisdom to let your heart melt into happiness. I won't give up trying to reach you before it's too late, a friend.
This
Memory?
music box could make a good distraction if I can fix it.
They said he killed my lord. They said the ink demon fell. They said I was a false prophet. But I say my lord lives. But I say he will return. But I say you better watch your back, Mr. Wilson. Can I get an amen? Ooh. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, never mind. Not stuck. Okay. How far does it go? Pretty damn far. God. Oh, fuck. Oh, for fuck's sake. No. Ow. I'm good. Fuck you.
And that's all the pieces for the music box.
Ugh. Ooh, you son of a bitch. Nice.
I just need to find a good place to put it. Here goes nothing.
Yeah, fuck you.
There you are, thank goodness. Wilson's waiting for you downstairs in the laboratory when you're ready. But first, can I get your help with something? Normally, I wouldn't ask this of a guest, but with all that's happening, I can't sneak out and get things like I usually do. Do you think you could pop round to the farmer's market back in town and find me a few ingredients? We're running quite low in the kitchen, and I was hoping we could all celebrate tonight with a lovely supper. Won't take but a moment if you go by train. Up to you. No pressure.
Subway. Catch the subway when you need to travel between Wilson's Retreat and downtown. The next train is always on time. Oh god. Uh Let's say, was there anything in particular Betty was looking for? Ah. Well, I'm dead. Hmm. Little Devil's Lounge. I thought I was Lord. Buggers. Say, where does this take me? Okay, so that just leaves me back here. Okay. Damn, you really gotta find like the sweet spot. Don't think there's a way back. Alright. Okay. I'll probably have to find the little devil's lounge somewhere else. Come on, Bendy. Don't be like that. Okay.
Please stay clear of the doors. Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas. Have a nice day. Que tengas un lindo día.
Okay. Got you the ingredients.
You're a miracle worker. Oh, truly. Oh, I only wish there was something I could do for you. Oh, wait. I spotted something in the fountain yesterday. Don't know what it's for, but you're welcome to have it. You better go see Wilson downstairs. He's been waiting ages.
Hmm. Okay. Color.
Audrey, you made it. Good. Thank you for coming all this way. The Ink Demon is a formidable foe. To truly destroy such a monster, he must be dethroned, humiliated. For months now, I've been working on something that will do exactly that. Cast out the demon, and put a new deity in his place. Stronger, more powerful, and controllable. Together, we just need to unleash our ultimate weapon. Come, let me show you my creation. Isn't he beautiful? Simple but elegant. A treasure. Powerful beyond anyone. The Ink Demon will fall, and we can have peace at last.
It could work, but it sounds risky. How will we control him? We don't want to repeat Joey's mistake.
No, we don't. All of the factors must be perfect. The right design, the right science, and the right soul. At last your purpose is revealed, Audrey. This is why you're here. With your soul inside him, my creation will live forever.
Stay away from me. You're insane.
Come now, Audrey. Part of you knew this was your path. Leave yourself behind and ascend.
I thought you said we needed to save your father. I thought you had a plan to send me home, to make everything right.
I lied. My father is beyond hope. Perhaps you know him. Nathan Arch, owner of Archgate, industrial genius, business tycoon. For years I've lived in his reaching shadow. He always had time for the grand creatives of the world, the doers, as he called them. He knew only the best, the biggest thinkers. How could his lowly son ever hope to compete with that? But now, thanks to you, I can. No need to struggle. My signal prevents you from using those devilish powers of yours. And more importantly, keeps the Ink Demon from getting in. It's time to die, Audrey. And live again as a god.
No, not this time.
Kick him in. Yeah. Cool. Also gross. Subject accepted.
I decided to go for a walk this morning. Took a little stroll down to the park. Enjoyed the warm sun for a while. Found a quiet bench. Even grabbed a hot dog. It's been ages since I've done that. Tessa would kill me if she knew I've been off my diet. When I got back to the office, I stopped by the animation department and said hello to the troops. My gosh, they're getting younger every day. Either that or I'm just getting older. It all made me realize time is moving on. The hard struggles don't seem as dire as they used to. Life has other value. I think I'll go home early today. Maybe I'll even pick up a hot dog for Tessa.
Uh-oh. This looks like a fight room.
Birthed from the It's time to ask the question.
It's horrifying. Oh, fuck. Damn it. Nope. Oh. Shit. Okay. Oh, you fucker. Okay. Oh, God. Bendy! Yep, still got no legs.
It's time. Your road is broken. Join the dark tunnel and give in to your suffering. You have nothing. You are without purpose. Your very existence was a terrible lie. You're a mistake. A monster. Like me. But I will make you strong. I will make you meaningful. It's time. The daughter of truth, the power of a demon.
What's happening to me?
There's always a choice. I know you're in there. Deep behind that evil face. Inside somewhere is my little girl. My Audrey. My greatest creation.
I'm scared. I don't know what's happening.
The past doesn't define you, nor the present. In the end, all those years ago, Joey Drew finally succeeded. He created life. But Audrey, you're so much more than that. You were his family, his daughter, my daughter. And I love you so very much.
Be quiet. The rich is mine.
Remember who you are, Audrey. Remember.
Your words are waste.
Oh no!
The failure of Joey Drew dies here.
I know you're in there. You don't have to be this anymore. It's never too late. Just a pencil and a dream isn't enough. You have to have heart.
The future is sealed. What do you think you're doing?
I'm starting over.
What?
This is the end.
Oh shit!
You're just a pawn. What makes you think me? Arise, my Bendy. Destroy this treasure.
It's a little clunky controlling the big guy. Hey, what's up?
Allison! Audrey, is that you in there? Come on, keep moving. We'll get you through. Tom, make us some trouble.
Nice.
Audrey, run!
I feel like we're at the end.
I got this. Keep fighting.
The ink demon rises. Surrender yourself to the Lord of the Dark Puddles. It's time to believe.
Well, that shut him up.
It's open. You can do this. Keep fighting. Keep going. You'll be all right. Good luck, Audrey.
Dead end. Now what?
Need some help?
Henry, you
Hey.
came.
Some battles are worth fighting for, even a million times. Come on, I found a projector up ahead. Run for it.
This man is mad, and the cycle will continue.
Well then, we'll just have to do better next time. My father once told me that just because we're born of darkness doesn't mean we belong to it. We're always free to choose. And here, at the very beginning, there's a choice to make. My father's cartoon world was now mine. To rule, to watch over, and to protect. I can make the cycle more bearable for my friends inside. But as for me, I'm the first of my kind. Born of ink, but living in flesh. Joey's world is escaping into ours. So, what's next? Who can really say?
So we're living in Toon World now? Huh. Adorable. Best character. These drawings are great, though. Just really, really creepy. Okay. I don't think I can skip. The Meatly. I guess I can give my review on Bendy and the Dark Revival. It was a lot shorter than I was anticipating. I think the thing with this game in like from the get-go is that it really wants you to explore a lot more because of the fact that like I wasn't exploring as much, which was kind of, I guess, my bad. But at the same time, it's like I don't know, like it's okay. You know what? Let me try to put everything together. Okay, so let me start from the beginning, and then obviously I'll give my overall thoughts for this. So the story itself, I do like the fact that it is a sequel to the first game, and it establishes the fact that the reason why that ending for the first game was so weird was because they're stuck in a time loop. That's essentially it. Look at that little guy. Bye, little guy. Okay. Yeah, it implies the fact that they're in a time loop. I'm very curious if, like, there is... Oh, no. There's just that. Huh, there's a new game plus of any sorts. I wonder where it puts me in the... Continue. I'm just curious, because if I can go back and... Yeah, okay. Maybe? Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. Oh no, that is not. Oh, oh, you're gonna have to redo everything from the beginning. Okay, yeah. So, anyways, this game being a sequel, I really do like the fact that it does follow up from the first game, and it follows the same, I guess, rules in like a time loop, but with this one being a little bit more different because of the fact that Henry did break it, but not completely. Um, I just like how weird it goes in the sense that you have Audrey, your main character, you know nothing about. Uh, her her reveal is essentially that she is a weird ink baby. Um, Bizarre, but still pretty interesting. Um, and then kind of adding a little bit more like memorable things from the first game showing up in this that are like, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, I recognize this, but it's a little different. um I don't know, it's there are some things that this particular game hits as being a sequel, and there's some stuff that I don't really know if I agree upon. um I think the biggest one, I think this is probably going to go into the characters, but like for story itself, the whole setup is very bizarre in the sense that, you know, you have your creepy guy Wilson being like, "I'm time to ink out, baby," but the more you go along and the more you like listen to audio logs and find notes, it starts to somewhat kind of make sense that like Wilson wanted to be like the new god of this world. Um, and like the whole thing about like his father being Nathan Arch, the guy who took all the properties from like Joey Drew after he died. So it's like, okay, so he has like this weird control thing, I guess. Um but yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I think because of the length of this game, I feel like I wanted more from it. Um and I feel like this game is more style over substance, um quality over quantity, because of the fact that like this game is such a visual upgrade. Like it's very very pretty in how it looks, and like it just is this, it does the interesting like cell shading effects like a little bit better. uh and like the first game itself is, it's, I'm not saying like the first game itself is ugly, but it's like it, you cannot compare it to this visually. Um, Obviously because it is a sequel and they've worked on this for like a good while. When did the first game come out? Like 2020 something, 2013. Oh, but I feel like the first game was a little bit longer compared to this. Bendy and the Ink Machine. It came out 2017, so it took 5 years, yeah. 5 years for the sequel to come out. And like I said, it does a lot of interesting things. Very 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 in the sense of gameplay wise, but the quality of the game is just crazy to look at. Like the ink creatures with their reflective shit looks really really cool. Um, Character models look pretty interesting, where specifically like the major ones, like they still look humanoid kind of, but still very cartoonish. um Even your main character Audrey looks very interesting, especially when she's all inkified, like right there. um but yeah, like it, I like I said, I kind of wanted more from the story. Like I just wasn't expecting it to be that short. We're already at like almost, I think in total, like 5, almost 6 hours of the game. And if you just straight line it, because I was trying to do some exploring and like backtracking and stuff like that, but I think in just a straight shot you can beat this game in probably like 3 hours, which is kind of nuts to think about. Yeah, I mean, the audio logs and the notes do kind of help to kind of establish a little bit more about the world, especially with the stuff with art studios, and more stuff about like the downfall of Joey Drew Studios. Um, but yeah, just I don't know. Like, there's a bit of disappointment for me when it comes to that sense. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, is there anything else to the story that's interesting? Yeah. That's the thing. Is just like I wanted more. Um, Wilson as a character feels a little underdeveloped because of the fact that like you only get his motive towards the end. There's really no build up to it, besides the audio logs but you get like 2 from him. Unless there's more that I missed, but you really don't get any other motivations besides I want to become god of this world because it's cool. It's like that's essentially it. Like I would have liked to have known like how he became a janitor or like why he's in a janitorial position at his father's company. Like it just like didn't really resonate with me. And then Audrey's whole backstory of her like not knowing her family or like not knowing her parents, and then the whole reveal of like you literally just get like a whole exposition drop from Joey Drew's ghost being like, I created you. By the way, here's the whole first game and what happened in that. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, there are some neat aspects of like of the audio logs talking about how they were able to control the ink demon, in the sense of reverting it into a bendy state, which is interesting. Um, and yeah, and you get like one little cool moment with Henry where you interact with him. But I'm curious. I'm like, is that missable? That whole thing with Henry. When you find him in like the testing site, I wonder if that can be missable. But yeah, it's just like characters show up. They're like, hey, we're here, and then they just leave, and then they show up again. It's just really weird. Like you don't really have any time to connect with anyone. It's like if you played the first game, you already know them at this point, but you know, your new character doesn't know these people that well, and she's supposed to trust them very easily, and she does. Which is kind of a detriment because of the fact the whole thing with Wilson and being like, help me, Audrey. By the way, you gotta die. Even though, it was kind of seen from before and on the way I acted by dragging you into this world, but help me though. I don't know, man. Like that there's some stuff like that kind of irks me. And then yeah, I want to kind of move into characters, but like I said, if you don't know these characters, if you don't already know these characters, it's just like you're not really getting anything from them, because yeah, God, the establishment of Tom in the first game was like, oh shit, not Boris. And it's like, it's this guy Tom. It's like, what's his story? Oh, he was actually one of the guys that used to work here, but he just transformed into this wolf thing, with a metal arm. And then you have Alice and Allison, and just like what their whole story is, and you already get that exposition from the first game, where it talks about how Alice Angel, the original actress, went crazy, and this like really neat stuff from the first game. But you already have to have that context from the original game, which is from this like really nothing you can get from them, unless one character is like, oh yeah, she went crazy because face reasons. Yeah, there's really nothing to add more to characters. And that was the other thing, is that like I was really hoping that Wilson would have like subverted my expectations in a sense that like he wasn't creepy bad guy character, but they just really don't do anything with Wilson. Like I said, you know, his motivations are really murky. They're there, but like the background for it is murky. But yeah, they just like, it was just like the first time you meet Wilson, he just comes off as very creepy and very malicious. And then yeah, that's what he is. He's very creepy and malicious. And yeah, and you get Joey Drew just comes in and is like, I'm basically your Obi-Wan now. I'm a Force ghost that's gonna be here and talk to you. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess. And then he just gives you an exposition dump, and you're like, oh, all right. Moving along. Yeah, I don't know, man. And our main character Audrey doesn't really have anything to connect with. You know, and it's like not towards the middle of the game where you get some backstory to her where she just doesn't know who her parents are, and that's it. You know, there's nothing that talks about her job or like how she was as a person before. You get some moments of character interaction when she specifically interacts with Bendy or Wilson, or when she even has that moment of talking with Joey Drew. But it's like, I don't, like I'm saying, is that like, I think the length of this game kind of kills it because of the fact that like they could have built on something more. Yeah, it's damn, man, it's just unfortunate. Music is still fucking great. I think the music is really good in this game because it really builds that tension and just it really makes the atmosphere creepy and just it made me tense. I think the music and the audio in this game is really well done. The setting itself is it's obviously not the first game setting where you're in the studio where it's like leaking and falling apart, but you are getting a more expanded view on the studio of like it having different areas such as like the artist rests, whereas like, oh, this was a place for people to live in so they don't essentially leave, you know, because they're tired. And it's just like, this is weird and kind of dystopian when you really think about it. But yeah, the setting in this game, I'm glad that they added like newer areas, and the city world is like I said, if it was bigger, I would have been like, oh shit, this is really cool, you know, but unfortunately it wasn't expanded upon. Yeah, the newer areas are pretty cool, and then you get to see just how creepy and kind of crazy this world went. But yeah, nothing really expanded upon from that. Setting, music, character, story, and I guess gameplay. So it's no big shock. Haha, shock. It's no big BioShock. This game does take a lot of inspiration from BioShock. It is very, very apparent. Even your main character has a pipe as her main weapon and powers. Yeah, as gameplay as it goes, it's pretty alright. You can kind of fumble the enemy AI when you're going around it, especially when you're going around their non-weapon hand. You can kind of like not stun lock them, but they can't necessarily do anything. But like I'm saying is that like I really was expecting more, because the only power you get is the warp, the flow power, which is cool. Yes, it is really cool, but I was anticipating more. You get Banish, but Banish is more of a stealth thing. And I felt like for me, I wasn't really utilizing it as much. because in the mandatory stealth sections, there's really nothing you could do with banish. You just kind of have to work your way around these enemies. I don't know. There's like a mix of like obviously Bioshocky first person melee stuff with some stealth mechanics in there, but it's not. How do I say this? It's like I'm trying to figure out the words to convey the feeling that I'm having. It's like I appreciate it, but I don't think I'm in love with it. I think the reason why I wasn't so in love with the stealth sections is because of the fact that you had an enemy always on your tail when you least expect it, and that's being the ink demon, where you're just wandering around and then all of a sudden the game is like, ink demon is nearby, find somewhere to hide. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that really breaks a lot of the moments where it's like, it does feel tense, yes, but then it starts to fade, the tension starts to fade away and starts to feel a little bit more annoying, in the sense that I'm like trying to find like for example, I'm in a room that I haven't explored yet, and like I'm want to explore, and I'm looking at stuff for like a short time, and then the thing just pops up, and then the filter blurs everything out, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, and I need to find a hiding spot, or not I'm gonna get killed, and then I get killed, and it's like, all right, let's try this again, and the same thing keeps happening. And like I understand the purpose of exploring the level and like coming to understand it, but like just give me a chance to actually explore and like look around. But overall, I think having a melee like the first game, having the melee of the pipe and it being upgradable is pretty cool. I think that is really fun. The flow thing is still cool, but I feel like it wasn't really utilized that much unless for like puzzles. Maybe that Alice Angel fight was pretty neat, because you got to rely on flow a little bit more, but I think the boss fights are a little weak, I have to say. Even the final boss, the Wilson fight, I felt was a little weak. It had interesting ideas, but it's already stuff that you've kind of already seen in other games, where it's like, oh, get him to break this thing and then overload it, and then get him to come out and then hit his weak point. There wasn't really anything intuitive, I should say. And that's not a giant criticism of the game. Like, it's still doing its job as a video game, but yeah, I don't know. Like I'm saying, is just like I was expecting more from this, especially this being a sequel to a game that was pretty alright. Well, not alright. I enjoyed the first Bendy game. But yeah, like I said, I think the length of this game really kills it. And like I said, like with Flow, I was expecting more powers to become available. Like, here's something new. Like, fuck if I know. It's like some kind of weird ink power that might happen. But nothing. Yeah, like I said, nothing ever gets expanded upon. And what else? Stealth sections are okay, but the ink demon following you is kind of it gets kind of annoying afterwards. Puzzles. The puzzles are okay, but most of them is just find passcode and that's it. The one interesting one was the animation, like the slides one, but then all you have to do is just find the exact order of what the slides are supposed to do, and that's basically it. No, actually, that's a lie. The interesting one was the Alice Angel one, where she has you on the chair and is like, let's figure out my puzzle. And then you just have to figure out which animals like are in the right order. I think that one was like pretty interesting because it's like figure out, okay, who's next to who's there in that spot. And I those are the kind of puzzles I enjoy, but like every other puzzle wasn't really memorable, to be honest. Yeah, trying to think anything else. Gameplay wise. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else because it's like I said, I think I already gave up my thoughts. It's just like overall, even though this game was like in development for 5 years, it just felt short. I wouldn't say it's rushed, but it just felt short. Um oh, the biggest thing which I feel is incredibly unfortunate is there's no new game plus. Cause you gotta start this shit all over again and find all those upgrades. And it's like, damn. And I was really hoping, because like even though the game is like, yeah, go explore, it's like the unless hold on, unless the last save, where did I put the fucking, oh, there it is. Unless my last save, oh no, you have to do it fucking manually. Oh, and that was in the locker room. Wait, could that be one? Hold on. I have to figure this out. No, this is way back. Ooh, okay, so you have to manually save to ensure that uh yeah. I mean, to be fair, Wilson does say, "Oh, go do your other stuff because you were at the point of no return." He does say that, but it's like, can I at least have the option, like, before we start the final boss, to go back out and find shit? But yeah, you're gonna have to start this game again, or to find the rest of the upgrades. Because look, like I feel like I didn't find a good amount. I only found 3, and then for the gen pipe, I've only found 2. So it's like, damn it, like I missed all that. I don't know, man. It's this is a weird one. Like I said, this is a weird one for me. I can't really think of anything else for the gameplay that I can say was memorable. And I just think my overall thoughts is like, I wanted more from this. I really did want more. I think like in a scaling of 1 to 10, I have to give this like a 6.4. Because it's like there are good stuff in this where I'm like, this is fine. This is actually pretty cool. And then the art style itself really does help this game, and just how this game looks visually is just amazing. And like come on, like compared to the first one, it's like it's ridiculously like nice to look at. But content wise, it's just like it's lacking. It really is lacking. And especially from somebody that like is really interested in the Bendy like weirdness in the world, I just really wanted more. I don't know if they might do DLC for this. It's or they might do another game where it's like, oh, now all the ink creatures have spilled into our world, and it's like that's kind of the leading from that ending, where it's like it's a pretty decent ending in the sense where it's like Audrey became real, like she's a real ink person in the real world, and the ink people have started to come in. But yeah, it's just like it kind of leaves me a little bit unsatisfied, and it's mostly because of the length of the game. Like that's the thing, is that like I'm gonna complain about the most is just like I wanted this thing to be longer. I really, really did. I was not expecting to be like, what, 5 chapters? Um, yeah, yeah, like I said, it's I don't want to say this game was a disappointment, but it's just like it didn't really do it for me, and it's unfortunate. Um, oh, that's also another thing. Talking about annoyances, fucking the ghost thing. What was her name? Candice? What the fuck was it? The the ghost girl. That shit was really annoying. It just got to a point where it wasn't scary anymore. It just was really annoying. And I'm like, you can only do something so much to the point where it's just like, it's getting really annoying. Um, and even enemy variety, because like you're just with the blob people, you're just with the ink people. That was also another thing where it's like, there wasn't really that much variety. It felt like the exact same from the first game. Like they could have done something else. You know, you can still do ink creatures, but like they could have done a little bit more with it, because you're just, like I said, you're fighting against enemies that look very similar to the first game, but talk. I think that was also the other thing that I felt like was a bit of a from my point of view, was a bit of a complaint for me, was these creatures are much more scarier when they don't talk. And that was the thing about the ink demon, when it's just this creepy, creepy thing that didn't talk to you, didn't say a single word, and was just like on your ass for most of the time. And then the ink creatures as well, the other ones, the blob peeps, where like they're not speaking, they're just groaning and moaning, and it's like, oh, they're like, it's like this weird eeriness of them, of like thinking they are possibly in pain. And it's like, oh, that's really creepy. But then you kind of have this where the bioshockiness kind of feels it really really there when you have the enemies kind of like yell and shout at you, being like, kill her, or like they're mumbling to themselves, being like, oh, like I'm going crazy. And it's like, yeah, that's where the bioshockiness is like really, really apparent. um but yeah, that ghost girl was like the thing that I started to dislike more and more, because it felt like it got to a point of being a cheap jump scare, and I hated it. Okay, hate is a very strong word, but it's just like something I just really didn't enjoy it as much as I did when she first appeared, where I was like, oh shit, that's really creepy. And then just later on, where she just starts to appear in other places, and it's like, oh, you again. Yeah, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave her like around like a 6.4. Not really a contender for Goaty, but um yeah, it's just like, damn. They were to do another game, I really hope that they kind of go into the length a little bit more to add a little bit more content. Um doesn't have to be like fucking God of War like 50 hours long, but it's just like, or Elden Ring like 100,000 plus hours long. It could be a little bit more. But yeah, I'm a little sad. Um, but anyways, for what it was, I did enjoy like the first person aspect and some of the initial horror stuff, because the creepy stuff is still there, but it's like I wanted more. That's the issue, is that like I appreciate the creepy stuff, but I want more from it. I don't want the fucking ghost girl to cheap jump scare me all the fucking time. I don't want the ink demon to continue to hunt me down when I'm trying to explore the world. I want to see more, and then I want more enemy variety, where it's like you can go further and beyond with the ink creatures. Like the Wilson design boss was pretty cool, because it's like this weird creepy thing, and you know, it has this weird sailor face, and then his head in the middle, and this spider legs, and yeah, and then the teeth spider was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Where it's like, this is an enemy that is very creepy, where it's just teeth, but it's like, come on, let's go. Let's, I know you got more ideas in the chamber, but it's just like, you're not pulling the trigger. It's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, Bendy was an experience. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I can say is that, like, I played it. I enjoyed what I enjoyed, and I disliked what I disliked. Um, yeah, yeah, a little sad about it, but oh well, gotta move on. But either way, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll be back again for another stream. Bye.